there's that line, the Solzhenitsyn line, that really does stay with me and has for a long time. Live not by lies. And it's just a very basic mantra. Just don't live your life as a part of a lie, saying lies, allowing others to lie. And here's where we are. It's very basic. It's very straightforward. You now have a situation where the NCAA, because of wokeness, which is really just left-wing political correctness weaponized in ways that many of us warned about, but certainly exceed even the PC mania of, say, the 1990s. Left-wing wokeness now demands that biological males can compete against biological females in sports, to include all sports. Right? So, yes, speed-based sports, track, swimming, but also down the line, there will have to be more discussions about combatives, things like boxing, jiu-jitsu, you name it. Because what you're being told is that there's no unfair advantage. Put aside for a second discussions of how we generally handle the psychological needs or the desire that we should all have to just be good to one another, to be kind to one another. People go through a lot of stuff. People need help at different times. This is about competition in NCAA athletics, right? This is about competition at the Olympics soon enough. And here we are watching it play out, and you have people on the left who are lying to you. They're just lying to you. And this is not a minor thing, because you are expected to comply. Very few people will publicly come out and say to you that there is no physical advantage, that a biological male does not, in fact, have a physical advantage over biological females, or also just male and female. I think some of these additional words that we use starts to play into it. And I've said before on this show that I do not approve even of using preferred pronoun. I think this was the beginning. That was the usage of a courtesy issue. Someone's name is a question of courtesy. Call someone what their name is. They want to change their name, that's fine. Someone's gender is a reflection of a reality that exists independent of feelings. The same way that I refuse to call somebody who believes that they are a plural or that they have a new pronoun, which was a real thing that the left was trying for a while, by the way. In the same way that there are constant new gender constructs. In fact, at one point, I think Harvard University was putting on its application, or maybe it was for admitted students, that there were a few dozen gender options. Very confusing for a lot of people. And this was all new, even to those who had spent their lives understanding the left and the program of progressivism. So here we sit and we're told that a biological male swimming against women and stealing what would have been. I mean, there is now a woman, and I want to be very clear. In fact, I want to name her. Emma Wyatt is actually the fastest female swimmer in America in the NCAA. She is actually the female gold medalist in reality land. In the NCAA and left-wing woke alternative universe, it is Lia Thomas. But it is, in fact, Emma Wyatt who is the fastest female swimmer. All you have to do is look at the photo of the three top finishers and say to yourself, one of these individuals is not like the others. It's quite clear. There's very obvious physical differences. And people who say, oh, but there's been a testosterone suppression for the last year. Testosterone, the individual here, Lia Thomas, has had over what is it, 20, let's say 21, 22 years old, about a decade of testosterone therapy as a male, insofar as he has had far more testosterone in the building of muscle and his skeletal system and everything than any of the women there, obviously. So taking some testosterone suppressant does not change all of that, does not shift the biological reality. But you'll notice there was a member of Congress that was shouting at people, they're bigots, celebrate this. And you have to wonder, why do they push so hard on it? Why do they insist? I mean, everyone notices, and I will answer that question, by the way. Why do they push so hard on it? Everyone notices the situation. I mean, here is the father of an Auburn University swimmer, because we have to remember there are women actual women who have been swimming for over a decade competitively. Some of them have probably been in the pool. I don't even know how young some of these women started swimming a lot and trying to become the best at their sport and what they do. Probably, 5, 6, 7 years old. And this would be a peak moment. I mean, getting a national championship gold medal would be a peak moment for getting a silver or a bronze. There were people who had that, women who had that stolen from them because the woke left, the Democrat Party, ESPN, and unfortunately most of corporate America are cowards who demand that you too live by lies. Well, here's a father of one of the Auburn University swimmers who's just saying what you and I and everybody else knows is true, but only some are willing to say.
They asked the question how he felt about winning, when really, how do the rest of the women feel about having the stress of dealing with this, knowing they have to swim against them. So a girl that got 9 doesn't get 8th. A girl that gets 17th doesn't make All-American 16th. A girl that got 39th, potentially if they took 38 girls in NCAAs, she didn't get to come to the NCAAs because a biological male took their spot. I think everybody's got to be civil about it. I call him Lia Thomas. He's a human. We should respect that and what he wants to do with his life. But this isn't the place to do it. It's taken opportunity away from females that have worked very, very hard for a long, long time, even before college, to get into this position. And it's just not right.
It's just not right. This father is absolutely correct. I would love to see some of these woke lefties that pretend to be so brave with their little blue checks on Twitter or on Facebook or wherever, mostly on Twitter, explain to that dad how he's wrong. It's because this is the new civil rights struggle. No, it's not actually. It's not. We've had gender separation in sports for a long time for very obvious reasons. And what they're really flirting with here is the eventual destruction of women's sports, because how much more of this do you go through before you say, fine, it's just open. Now we just have age limits. We'll just all agree on that, I guess, for the time being, that, there'll be, 18 and over swim meets or college swim meets for people 18 to 22. And then there'll be high school swim meets, but there'll be no gender separation. After all the fighting that occurred to get women equal access to sports facilities through Title IX, and this was a big program of the left, they abandon it at the first moment that it's politically convenient for them to do so. And they pretend that that's not what they're doing, but it is exactly what they're doing. Here is a Virginia Tech swimmer who is competing in this meet, again, saying what is obvious, but what the whole country needs to hear.
You're a Virginia Tech swimmer. What did you think about Lia Thomas competing today as a swimmer in this competition? What are you feeling? What are other athletes feeling?
It's a common conception that we are all very disappointed and frustrated with someone who has capabilities more than us women have to be able to compete at this level and take opportunities away from other women. Like, I have a teammate who did not make finals today because she was just bumped out of finals. And it's heartbreaking to see someone who went through puberty as a male and has the body of a male be able to absolutely blow away the competition, and you go into it with a mindset that you don't have a chance, if that makes sense. Like, it's hard to compete against someone with the aerobic capacity, the muscle development, the body of a man. It's hard. It's hard to think about it like that. And staying positive, I bet, for other swimmers who are in that heat is probably overwhelming. I'm not sure. I can't speak for them, but it's disappointing to see and frustrating, definitely.
Everybody listening knows that everything she just said is true. Will you see any discussion of it on MSNBC, on CNN? Do you think the New York Times or the Washington Post will write an editorial saying, all right, we have gone too far here. We have gone too far. Calls for courtesy and decency to one another are always well met and in good faith, right? Calls for the competition of biological males against biological females, that is quite different. That is something else. And that's what we're seeing. Notice that they lie to you about this, and they have no compunction. There's no hesitation. It's not like, this is really, it's shut up, bigot. No, that's not a male. It's a woman. That's what they say. They don't even say it's a transgender woman. I want you all to be very clear. The lefties who push this stuff tell you that Lia Thomas is a woman. Full stop. Full stop. What you see with your lying eyes, they want you to forget, and you're supposed to listen to them. The same people who told you that Hunter Biden's laptop in the media, the same people, Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, the same people who tell you Fauci is not a lying, evil little tyrant and that masking works. You're noticing something here, aren't you? They don't care about the lie because it's always for a good cause in their minds. It always serves a higher purpose, and therefore, no matter how much violence it does against truth, it is worthwhile. Welcome to the modern left in America today. Maybe it's been the left the whole time. But now they've accrued so much power that they can expect you to live by it, to listen to them, to obey, bend the knee. Bend the knee. Do what they say or else. Deny objective reality or you are a bad person. Isn't that such a useful tool? If they can get you to deny objective reality once, in this instance, where else can the apparatus decide that you can't actually see what you see? Where else can they continue the war on observation? What you know and what you experience to be true, they say isn't.